Hello, and thank you for tuning in. This week's deck, we're going to have our Pure Thunder deck as seen on stream. Catch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/BigSlorpNorb. Obviously up on the banner up there if you want to follow my socials at all either. I try to stream every single night, and then every single Monday from here on out, we're going to try a different deck. So obviously this Monday, we're going to be hopping off the Pure Thunder. But I'll be uploading some of those Twitch streams and showing you some of those replays that I've been playing this week. But otherwise, let me just explain this deck just a little bit for you. Obviously, Pure Thunder is probably one of the most generic deck lists you're ever going to see. The lineup's super standard. You just got your 3 OG Thunder Dragon with 3 Dark, 3 Roar, 3 Hawk, 3 Matrix, and that just right there is just super self-explanatory in every single list. Everyone is maxing out on these cards. These cards are just the best cards in the deck. You just 3 card core, which Roar into Dark into Hawk. Usually just your most common play. Otherwise, you got your Matrix for your utility. Otherwise, you're going to have your Dragon Duos. I see most people playing this at 2 nowadays, which is good. Usually, you'd only play the 1, but honestly, this card is super amazing. It's an extender, it's a boss monster in the deck, it searches as soon as you destroy something by battle. There's no reason not to play this card at 2. This card is incredible. Honestly, if I thought it was appropriate, I'd bump this card up to 3, but sometimes it definitely breaks. But otherwise, for our starters, we're opting in this list to go with our 3 Solar and 2 Lupine. 3 Solar is a bit different than what other people are playing. Most people are going to be playing their 3 Lupine and then like 2 or 1 Solar, which I find pretty incorrect. When you summon your Solar and your Solar gets ashed or impermanence or anything, it is still a Thunder effect monster for you to make it into Colossus, or at least do something with. Because if you just start with like Solar, Roar, and like Thunder Dragon, and you summon your Solar and that gets stopped, you can Thunder Dragon search itself and then make Solar into Colossus and then banish Roar and Colossus into Titan and then get into your combo that way still. So I just think that this card is the best starter over Lupine, because like I said, if Lupine gets stopped when you banish something like a Matrix that's not one of these guys, then you're just kind of stuck in the water there. You just have a Lupine and that's it, and that's never a good idea. It's never a good plan. Otherwise, our hand traps, we're going to have our 3 Ash Blossom. This one's just like the most generic hand trap of the format. It hurts every deck in some capacity, whether it be like a pot card, whether it be their main engine that specials from deck, whatever. Ash Blossom just does it best. So there's no need for explanation for Ash Blossom. Otherwise, we got our 3 Impermanence. Impermanence is a kind of a flex spot, but honestly, I like Impermanence the most over anything else. It gives me more back row, so it kind of spooks my opponent when they're trying to get my floodgates. Otherwise, Impermanence, I wait for my turn to activate it to get over things that I can't normally destroy, because that's the deck's biggest problem, is getting over stuff that can't be destroyed by card effects. Otherwise, our draw power, we're just going to have our 3 Allure of Darkness, which is quite literally Pot of Greed when you pair it up with these 2 guys. You draw 2, banish the Dark, and then search off a Dark. It's just so amazing. Otherwise, our 2 Pot of Desires, there's just no reason not to play Pot of Desire since we're maxing out on 3 ofs of everything. Otherwise, our lesser cards just 2 ofs, which honestly you don't mind if they get banished from deck. And then our like power card just for your Thunder Dragon specifically is the 1 Gold Sark. This is literally emergency teleport for the deck. You just banish your Roar and summon Dark from deck. It's a free summon. It's amazing. Gold Sark's Gold Sark. It's at 1 for a reason. Otherwise, our 2 Thunder Dragon Fusion. I say there's a lot of best cards in the deck, but this is quite literally the best card. This is what you loop every single turn, and what I don't see people doing is really prioritizing that loop, really putting back your fusions, looping that Roar every single turn. So during your turn 3, you're just going to banish fusion, add Roar, discard Roar, add back the fusion. Just the most common play, and most likely you're going to have that Thunder Dragon still left in hand, and you just shuffle back the 2 Thunder Dragons and the 1 Roar for a Titan. And that is just an endless loop every single turn. So it's a free 2 pops, free 32 beat stick every single turn. It's just too amazing. And then lastly, as seen in the YCS Milan top 8, we're playing the Floodgates. All the Floodgates. And these cards are our power cards. This is the thing that helps us beat Orcust and Grave-centric decks, because this deck is just awful against Grave-centric decks. We can't do anything to their graveyard outside of these cards. So these cards are pretty necessary. If you're not playing them in your list right now, I advise probably just testing it out a little bit. I've had great success with it. Plus, D-Fissure and Solar is a starter right there too, and that's why I'm opting to play the 3 Solar along with the D-Fi. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. Like I said, really big emphasis on these Floodgates. These Floodgates have helped me out so much, as you can see in my my duel replays. And in the extra deck, we're going to have triple Colossi Boy, obviously, and then triple Titan. Super self-explanatory. If you're not maxing out on these, I don't know what you're doing. And then next, for our XZ spot, usually in these kind of lists, you have about 1 or 2 flex spots in your extra deck. What I call my flex spots would probably be Gustav Max, Borreload, and Ningirsu. I'll go over the links in a little bit. But as far as Gustav Max, this lets you OTK under Nibiru. So you're summoning under that 5 summon spots. So if you just summon double Titan and you just attack for 6,400 with double Titan, and then you just stack Gustav Max on for that last 2,000 to make it 84 for game, then it's just so incredible. It is so incredible. Otherwise, for our links, we're going to have Appaloosa. This is really good paired with our Solar. It's really good against Orcus. It's really good later in the game when you know that your Titan and Colossus probably won't do much. It just kind of caps your board. I really enjoy Appaloosa. It stops Nibiru's too. Otherwise, Borreload, this one, I don't really like making Link 4s in this deck, because usually when you're making a Link 4, you're not ending on one of your fusions, unless you have an insane amount of extenders. So Borreload is only there if there's something that needs to be outed. If it needs to be outed, or it's like really easy to go into, like if they keep like a Link 2 on my board or whatever, you know, Borreload's Borreload. Otherwise, we've got our Ip. Ip is usually gone into when we're doing our Lupine play. It's Lupine, Banish Roar, Summon Dark, make those guys into Ip, search a Hawk or search Fusion, whatever, make your Ip, and it's super strong. Otherwise, our spot removal is going to be Phoenix and Unicorn. Super self-explanatory. Unicorn's good at spinning stuff, and I'm really happy that we have a spinner that's not just Ningirsu and Borreload, kind of easier to go into there. And then obviously Phoenix to get rid of there can only be ones and just back row in general. Otherwise, we've got our 1 Link Rebo. This one can be considered another flex spot, but I consider it pretty necessary. Especially when you're breaking on Dragon Matrix. Like if you open Dragon Matrix and Dragon Hawk, what you can do is just summon the Matrix, make it into Link Rebo, and then bring it back off a Hawk to make a Colossus. So it kind of frees up some of those bricky hands. Otherwise, our Ningirsu, this is one that I really, really wanted to talk about. So this is really, really easy to go into this deck, actually. So when you have extension, and when you have when you already activated your Dark for the turn, you can use your Roar effect to summon your Matrix from deck, to summon Link Rebo under your Soulmate Summoner, and then just make Ningirsu that way. Otherwise, most commonly, you just go through your Solar combo. Solar, send Roar, Hawk back the Roar, and then what you're going to have is Solar, Roar, and then the token. You make your Roar and the Solar into a Soulmate Summoner, and then you summon your Dark from deck, and then you make that token into Link Rebo. And then you make the Link Rebo and Soulmate Summoner in Ningirsu, and then Ningirsu send something. So it's got its utilities, and then obviously Soulmate Summoner, it's the generic Link 2 for Thunders. So onto the side deck, we're going to have 3 Lancia. As far as the side deck is concerned, as I go through it, this is probably the only card that I would consider maybe taking off for something else. I really want these to be system down, but honestly, Lancia is just super powerful going second, and I just haven't found any replacements for it other than that system down, and even then it's like Lancia just does its job. Otherwise, for combo decks, we got Dark Ruler No More. This is I just really hate relying on hand traps against combo decks. Like, I hate having to see the hand traps, and then even when you see the hand traps, it might not even stop their combo fully. So why not just let them go off completely, freeze their board, and then Titan pop everything, and then reestablish our double Colossus Titan board. And then otherwise, for our back row decks, we're going to have Twin Twister, and then also Evenly Matched. I consider Evenly Matched kind of a flex spot against the back row decks, and then also against some Orcus variants, against other combo decks that can't really deal with the Evenly Matched. So the 6 cards against the back row deck's really good. This deck can struggle against back row decks if you don't play it smartly. Otherwise, for going first, we're going to have our Erad and our 1 Trap Trick. So 2 Erads, and then the 1 Trap Trick. This is super duper powerful. Usually what'll happen is Orcus will make me go first in games 2 or games 3, whatever it is. And as soon as they mind control my Colossus, I'll eradicate her for spells. And that gives me information on what they have in hand. And also, usually most Orcus players are playing the full Sky Striker package. So hitting them for spells is very, very huge. And that's the list.